All right, bruv, we are headed to London this weekend for UFC London, bruv.
All of our
cup of tea.
UK audience just clicked off.
Britishers
so
gone. Stacked fight night. You know, we got top prospects like Mick Parkin, Loner Kavanagh on the prelims, and then we got maybe number one contender matches for the welterweight belt. So
yeah, stacked from top to bottom, honestly. Like, I was looking at the prelims, I was like, I might have to start watching early.
And CLD,
Charles
Leroy Duncan,
the legend. But starting off the card, we're going to start off with the early prelims. I mean, there's just prelims and main card, but there's a lot of fights to get through, so we're going to get through them pretty fast. First on the card, Guram Kutateladze versus Cal Fernandez. This one was pretty easy. I think Guram Kutateladze, I don't want to say that last name over and over again, so I'm just going to call him Guram. He has more momentum right now. He's been fighting a little bit more often. His last one was over Jordan Vucenic in Saudi Arabia, which is a decent win. Jordan Vucenic is a pretty hyped up prospect also who's up on this card. So just because the Georgian aura, I'm going to have to go with Guram.
When we were talking about like the Georgian fighters in our hot takes video, people were probably pissed we didn't name Guram. They're like, how did you not name Guram?
I think I might have.
I don't think we did. But I think if we're also going to MMA math here, Guram beat Gamrot, who beat Arman. So does that mean that Guram should be the Georgian guy fighting Islam for the lightweight belt? Not Ilya.
That's the big fight Dana was talking about.
Has Ilya beat Arman? No. Has Guram? No, but he beat Gamrot, who beat Arman. So exactly. If we can't get Ilya, Guram's a good replacement.
Guram does get hurt quite a bit. Like, he was almost finished in that fight with Vucenic. It feels like every fight he makes it like really, really close, which isn't like easy to predict, but I'm gonna go decision for him.
I'm probably also going to go with the Guram decision.
Yeah, it's the only logical thing. Next up the card, we got Nathan Fletcher versus, I hate Irish names so much. Like, what even is this? Caelan Loughran?
Colin?
No, they have the weirdest pronunciations. It's probably like Caelan Lauren or something.
Is he Irish?
Yeah, he's Irish.
Let me get my Irish voice warmed up.
You don't have an Irish voice.
Split the G, mate. Oh, top of the day. Would you like to go have a pint with me, mate? Caelan Loughran. Oh, there it is. Caelan Loughran. Caelan Loughran.
Someone who's Irish, please tell us how to pronounce that name.
Conor McGregor. Caelan Loughran.
Yeah, I mean, Caelan. Okay, his name's Caelan now. His name is Caelan. He lost his last fight to Jake Hadley. Jake Hadley's decent, bro.
Jake Hadley's a dog.
He's a dog, bro.
He's a dog.
Yeah, and like, this isn't really a fight that I'm too excited about. I mean, it's fair to be on the prelims, but Loughran is 1-2 in his UFC career, so it's not looking great for his start. And Nathan Fletcher is like a decent fighter who's had decent matchups and some good wins. This could go either way, but I'm probably leaning towards the slight favorite, Fletcher.
I think I think the loss to Jake Hadley. You know, I'm a big Jake Hadley guy, so I'm gonna lean with Loughran here. Loughran's gonna get the dub here. Probably a decision win.
It's our first
split. Switch it up, you know.
I feel hurt.
Sorry.
Next up the card, we got a real banger for the hardcore: Shauna Bannon versus Pooja Tomar. Now, Dylan, if there's one thing that I've learned in the UFC,
there's two things. People from India, people from Canada. You don't trust them.
Yeah, you can never bet on someone from India or Canada. Let that be your first lesson.
An Indo-Canadian? Worst nightmare.
So good. Yeah, I mean, realistically, like, it's a close fight. They've had similar levels of competition. I'm leaning Shanna Bannon. That's better split decisions, you know. That's real women's MMA for you right there. Better split decisions. But yeah, this is like, I looked at the records and I was like, oh man, I don't even know who these people are, who they're fighting. Like, I don't recognize anyone on their records, so we might be cooked.
Yeah, I'm kind of already anticipating being in the washroom or making myself some lunch. This will be about,
this is midday.
About 11 o'clock. So let's go with Shauna Bannon to get the decision win over Pooja.
Now we got a real banger.
CLD. Charles Leroy Duncan up against Andre Puliev.
Yes, I was a big fan of Andre Puliev on the Contender Series. One of the rare fighters who got a contract without getting a KO or a finish. So he went to decision on the Contender Series, but he still managed to get a contract. It was a good fight. He backs up a lot, which is interesting. Like, we talk so much about how when you push the pace and you push the forward momentum, you're usually the one winning.
Yeah.
But he's always backing up, and I don't really love that. Like, he managed to win his Contender Series. I actually watched, look, I did my research for this fight. I watched Christian Leroy Duncan's his last win, and I watched Andre Puliev's Contender Series fight. And watching them back to back, the speed difference of the people who are fighting on the Contender Series, they seem so much slower than Christian Leroy Duncan. And it's not like Christian Leroy Duncan has like great wins. He lost to Armin Petrosian in a close fight. He lost his last fight as well. So he's not like on this crazy win streak, but just the speed of his punches, I feel like is going to give Andre Puliev a lot of problems. And that makes me lean towards Christian Leroy Duncan.
CLD's my dog. You know, we're in England, so when you have those toss-ups, you go with the English guy.
Especially for a decision, you know?
Yeah,
like,
so give me that 2-1 CLD decision. Title run starts now.
Yeah, it's probably going to be 29-28. You know, like Puliev, good leg kicks, mixes it up really well with body jabs, but I just don't see how he's going to be able to win a fight where he's always on the back foot against CLD.
Yeah,
CLD's going to throw some spinning elbows or some random shit.
And I think you struggle to knock out Puliev here with just how young and how fresh his chin is.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
Next up the card, we got Slick McParkin versus Marcin Tybura. Again, like, how is this on the prelims?
Yeah.
So crazy.
This should realistically be like the featured fight.
Yeah, for sure. So first chance for McParkin to get a ranking, because he didn't get a ranking last time, but he just randomly got moved up. So this is a big shot for him. He'll move up to like 7 or 8 with a win. I think this is a really tough matchup to predict. This is the reason why this card is so good, because every time when I was trying to predict someone, I was like, I mean, it could go either way.
Yeah. And I think like when we're looking at Tybura versus Parkin, we have Tybura the vet, and then you have Parkin the up and comer, but Parkin hasn't done anything.
Yeah.
You know, Parkin has not fought anyone close to the level of Tybura, so it's like, you know, brain is saying Tybura, heart saying Parkin.
Yeah. Have you decided? I haven't decided on this one yet.
I have decided. I think that Parkin might struggle on the ground with Tybura, just because he hasn't fought anyone of Tybura's level. We're also in England.
What do you think? I don't think it's... I doubt a finish here, you know?
No.
Like, I think Parkin is good enough on the ground. Like, looking at his past fights, he's smart enough to, like, not get put in bad positions. He's not Janata Deniz, who's never been on the ground in his life.
Yeah, and I feel like they both have good enough chins.
They decent chin. I mean, Marcin Tybura is 39, so he's getting quite a bit older. But heavyweight, it doesn't really matter as much. And he didn't take any damage in his last fight. But I feel like Mick Parkin, like... We got to remember, this is heavyweight, and the main thing that matters is your plot armor. And I feel like Mick Parkin has that plot armor.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go with a Parkin decision.
Yeah, I was leaning Tybura before this video, but the more research I did, I was like, you can't research this. It's Mick Parkin by whatever he wants.
It's pure vibes.
Yeah,
it's pure vibes.
Exactly.
That's how you go with this fight, is vibes.
I don't think Tybura is going to take him to the ground as easily as he did Deniz. Parkin has better boxing than Janata Deniz, even though Deniz has the kickboxing. It's a little bit different. I think, you know, if Mick Parkin trains with Tom Aspinall knows exactly how to approach this fight.
Yeah.
I just don't see a world where it's a clear and easy ground and pound finish for Tybura, and that's the only way I see him winning.
Yeah, some gnarly elbows.
Exactly.
I think Parkin will find a way to get out of that.
I think so. But it's close. Next up the card, we got Loner Kavanaugh,
take it away.
My boy, versus Felipe Dos Santos. Another one where it's like kind of two up and coming prospects. I wouldn't say Felipe Dos Santos is like a major prospect anymore, but Loner Kavanaugh, he is the guy at flyweight for prospects right now. And obviously, I've been his number one fan since day one. He went on a crazy finishing streak in the regional scene, and that's how he got kind of discovered. He had like crazy finishes in flyweight, so he has great boxing, great power, and good enough wrestling to survive with all these guys. I don't want the undefeated curse to ruin my boy. You know, like, we've seen every undefeated fighter in 2025 lose their O.
Yeah, basically.
It's not looking good for me, but I'm going to ride with him. I think Dos Santos has been through a couple of wars already in his career, even though they're both young, which, you know, it's not great for the chin. I think with Loner Kavanaugh's power, he'll at least sting him a couple times. I don't think it's going to be like this crazy highlight finish, because this ain't the regional scene, you know? It's a step up, and we already saw it in Loner Kavanaugh's first fight. He didn't clip on the guy. Like, it was a close fight. So I'm not expecting this massive performance, but I'd say 29-28 for Loner Kavanaugh.
Ooh, okay. I think that, obviously Loner is Lucas's GOAT. He's the guy that he's going to pick regardless. The guy he says is going to be the future champ. Future of flyweight right here, Loner Kavanaugh. But I think it's going to be a competitive fight.
Yeah.
I think this is different than what we've seen from him on the regional scene or in his first fight. This is the type of fight that feels like it has the potential to be one of those flyweight prelims that could steal the show, though.
Yeah.
The boxing for both of them.
Yeah, for sure.
This is the one where it's like, like that main card, like Jan Blachowicz versus Alberg and Leon versus Sean Brady. Of course I forgot that guy on Mr. Forgettable. But it's like those fights, they have the chance to be stinkers. This is gonna be the fight of the night, that is not gonna get its credit because no one's gonna be watching it, But it's like, Loner Kavanaugh, undefeated fighter. Wouldn't be the first time one of them lost this year.
Yeah.
Won't be the last time because that's how this is 2025's going. Ultimately, you have to ride with Loner Kavanaugh here.
Yeah, he's just the better fighter from what we've seen so far.
And I think we're going to get a pretty good fight here, potentially fight of the night.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. All right, last fight on the prelims, another really good fight. We got Jai Herbert coming back against Chris Padilla. Jai Herbert's 36 in lightweight. So right off the bat, I'm not a big fan of the older generation once they reach that 36 years of age. And I feel like the weight cut, I'm just waffling here, but the weight cut, because of his height, could be really difficult.
It is tough
as he gets older. Like that can't be easy for anyone. And he hasn't been like super active. He'll come back for once a year. And dude, I swear to you, the reason why these odds are even close to being even, and I think Jai Herbert might even be a slight favorite.
He is the slight favorite.
It's because of the Ilia Topuria head kick.
Yeah.
It's carrying his career, and I'm done hearing about it. I'm done. That was Jai Herbert back in the day against a short notice, fat Ilia Topuria who moved up against someone who has like a 76-inch wingspan or 79-inch wingspan. Like, it's a bad matchup for Topuria, and he got caught. Yeah. Jamal Hill style. He got caught, bro. But Chris Padilla is on a really good finishing streak. He's finished guys like James Fatty Lontop in the first round with submission. Okay.
How much did Lontop weigh that for?
Don't even get started with me.
Was he only 10 pounds overweight there?
Yeah. Which, Lontop is the guy that Mauricio Rufy couldn't finish. So
35 pounds overweight.
Yeah, 35 pounds overweight. And also Rong Zhu. And Rong Zhu's looking really good in his last couple fights. So he has some good wins. Herbert is chinny. So it's just all these things adding up aren't looking great for Jai Herbert. And that ultimately led me to pick Chris Padilla in this fight. Ooh. I think he'll take it to the ground. He could even get a submission win here.
Yeah, we got Herbert, the slight favorite here. And he's a guy who basically only loses to great fighters such as Ilia Topuria, Manny Moicano, or the up-and-coming Frenchman, Ferjam, And I don't think Padilla's on the caliber of those fighters, You always have to worry about these older fighters and their chins, but I feel like Herbert has one last big fight in him, really? Especially in his home country. Jai Herbert ain't finished nobody these days, so give me a Jai Herbert decision over Chris Padilla.
Yeah, it's like people always look at Jai Herbert and they see the length and his kickboxing. The dude doesn't finish people.
No, in like his last 10 fights, his KO percentage is 63% of his wins are from KO.
Yeah.
That's
the regional scene.
Yeah.
That's on the regional scene.
UFC ain't nothing.
Exactly. Moving on to the main card predictions. First fight, we got Nathaniel Wood versus Morgan Charrier. He's back. The GOAT is back. We watched his fight on UFC Paris, I believe it was.
Yeah, I think he has had one more since then.
And he got that second round KO, which was super hype. This is a great fight. Again, so many of these fights are good because it's good matchups. It doesn't matter about the name value. Nathaniel Wood has a bit of name value, but it's good because I feel like they're similar levels. And I want to pick Charrier bad, and he's a favorite, but I think the value's in the underdog here.
Yeah, I mean, with the wins that Nathaniel Wood has in his career, Andre Fili, Charles Jourdain, and the GOAT,
John Dodson.
Those are good wins for a relatively, I don't want to say unknown low level, guy in Nathaniel Wood, but no one knows who Nathaniel Wood is. 10% of UFC fans know who he is?
Yeah, I'd say that's fair.
He's a guy that, he's a prelim warrior.
That's true. This is
his first main card.
Yeah.
But you got Morgan Shuri, who, I feel like has a lot of hype because of what he did in France. All eyes were on him in France, and he got it done in the second round. It's a tough one. I really liked what I saw out of Shari in his last fight, and this is definitely his toughest fight.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
By far.
It's a big step
Nathaniel Wood is like a good fighter. I think I'm going to go with Morgan Shari, though.
Yeah, I was going to pick Nathaniel Wood because of his wins and resume, but I feel like I'm getting the vibes where Charrier is like a fighter who, like Faris Ziam, is like on a steep incline of improvement.
Yeah.
I hope so, at least. And he was hyped on the regional scene, and then he got to the UFC and was like kind of so-so, took a loss, and the hype kind of died down. But I feel like he's going to improve a lot. I feel like the French guys have a little bit of aura right now. And Nathaniel Wood, if you look at his last fights, like the Andre Fili fight and every other fight, he gets caught bad. Like, he always gets hit really hard. And I think if Morgan Charrier hits him, he's going to go out.
Lights are out.
Exactly. So I'm going to ride with Morgan Charrier on this one. I'll go like second round KO.
Yeah, he's got power for a low weight class, which is what you like to see.
He does.
All right, moving on. Jordan Vucenic, close enough, versus Chris Duncan. You know, there's at least 3 prelim fights that should be over this fight on the main card.
But Jordan Vucenic has a lot of UK fan base, like very specific UK fan base. So it's obvious why they did this on the main card.
But if Charles Leroy Duncan is getting the dub on this card, is there really room for Chris Duncan to get a win on a card like this?
Chris Duncan ain't getting this win, bro. Chris Duncan is not getting this win.
No, CLD is doing it for the Duncans. Chris Duncan, you're cooked.
Do you know they're brothers?
No, they're not.
Yeah.
No, they're not.
See if I could get you with that
Do you know
one.
who Stephen Thompson is?
All right, buddy.
Deep cut.
All right.
Deep cut.
I like Jordan Vucenic a lot. He's super fast. His last fight was against Guram Kutateladze, which he lost, but he almost got a first-round finish. And I remember that fight vividly because of this guy's tattoos. The Vucenic tattoos, just his whole body's black. Do you remember that?
That guy?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. So he got like super close to the finish against Kutateladze, which would have been a really good win for him. I still think he's a really good fighter. He's really, really fast. Chris Duncan is just really mid. You know, he's lost by submission against Manuel Torres 2 fights ago. And because Vucenic is kind of a goat at submissions, I'm going to go with him to kind of beat him up on the ground, hold his back a little bit, and just overall be faster. I think it's going to be a pretty clear 30-27 decision.
Yeah, I'm also going Vucenic, but like as we're kind of talking about this fight, like I'm a little bit worried we're going to see very few finishes on this card.
Could be a 7-hour card.
Yeah.
I could see that.
Like,
yeah.
I feel like there's a chance you don't get a single finish on this card.
Especially because the 2 main fights are guaranteed to go the distance.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Allbird cardio goes crazy.
We might be,
All right, do we need to talk about this one? Molly McCann versus Alexia Thainara. It's a women's fight. Dylan.
Oh, Alexia Thainara, obviously.
Yeah. Obvious, right?
All right, next fight.
I got Molly McCann by fluke head kick KO. Dude, Molly McCann, I went back and looked at some of her stats. I swear she had 2 fights back-to-back where she KO'd with a spinning elbow.
What?
Like, she gets the flukiest KOs of all time, and that's how she wins. So it's either Molly McCann gets another fluke KO, and she's not finished, or Alexia Thainara, who has better technique and, like, better skill, but is a short-notice replacement, gets the win, which she should, just by decision, you know? Mm-hmm. So I don't really care about this fight. I'll go Molly McCann by fluke KO because it's in England.
All right. Next up, Gunnar Nelson versus Kevin Holland.
Kevin Holland, stop making me predict your fights. I can't do it. I always get them wrong.
I think you went RDR the last time.
No, I didn't. I was like, Kevin Holland, there's no way Kevin Holland loses this because RDR sucks. I went Kevin Holland against Oleszejczuk. That's the only one I've gotten right since we've started our official predictions on YouTube.
Yeah. Since we started our official predictions, I've went Kevin Holland every time.
And I will keep going Kevin Holland every time until the day I die.
Lucas, in 2025, can you trust Kevin Holland?
No, you couldn't trust him in 2024, but that didn't stop me from picking him.
Exactly.
So I will continue to pick him. I think Gunnar Nelson has a good shot at getting a submission just after what we've seen against RDR
and
Delidze in his last fight. Like, Kevin Holland ain't that guy on the ground.
No.
He's not that great, especially when they have good jiu-jitsu and good wrestling. And I think Gunnar Nelson's one of those guys who shows up once every 2 years, gets a finish on an England card, and leaves for another 2 years.
But I think if we see Kevin Holland lose this fight here, could this be his last fight in the UFC?
Definitely not. He has name value. They can throw him on any card. Somehow he still has name value, even though he's lost like I don't know what his exact record is, but surely he's 1-3 in his last 4.
Yeah, I think the last one was Olajaychuk
that he won, and then he lost the one before that. So yeah, because that was against MVP. So yeah, he's probably 1-3, 1-4 in his last 3 or 4 fights. I'm gonna pick Kevin Holland.
Yeah, I'm going Kevin Holland too.
Like,
I just struggle with the fact that I think he's purely just here to make money.
Yeah, it's tough, But then you look at Gunnar Nelson. He's beaten Alex Morono, who moves like he's underwater. Literally my least favorite welterweight fighter, Alex Morono, the bald little guy who like so slow. And so if Gunnar Nelson's beaten guys like that, I just don't think he beats a guy like Kevin Holland. But Kevin Holland ain't that good anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but it's Kevin Holland.
It's also welterweight, which I think is good for Kevin Holland.
Yeah, he's not a middleweight.
He's not a middleweight, bro.
He's the same size in middleweight and welterweight.
He weighs in at 180.
Yeah.
At middleweight. Like, what are you doing?
On short notice. Short notice 180.
Yeah. All right. Now, time
to make everyone upset, because when I've seen other people predicting in this fight, we're the only people, I don't want to spoil, on our team.
Really?
Yeah, everyone's on the opposition.
Dude, I swear it's obvious though. Like, I am getting flashbacks of other bad predictions that I've had where I think it's so clear that the prospect gets fraud checked, but I just think that Prime Blachowicz would clear this guy so easily.
And we've seen Blachowicz in these situations before.
Yeah.
Alberg's lucky this is a 3-round fight.
Oh, yeah. If this was 5-round, everyone would be going Blachowicz.
Yeah. I think we have to realize that, Alberg's striking awesome. Alberg striking the first round is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Alberg striking the rest of the fight is terrible.
It's so mid.
He gasses out so easily. City Kickboxing don't practice cardio, clearly. They don't train cardio.
No.
And we've seen Blachowicz give fighters like Alex Pereira and Magomed Ankalaev their toughest tests.
Yeah. Well, he's done it to everyone. If you look at Blachowicz's fights...
Adesanya, too.
He stopped Adesanya's 20-fight win streak.
Yeah.
Like, this dude can outstrike the best strikers, which is so random. He'll show up and just decide, like, all right, I'm going to be the GOAT right now. And then he had that title run, which was a crazy win streak. Like, he went 7-1 on that title run. Like, he's a great fighter. The only reason why people are picking against him is because of the 2-year layoff, the shoulder surgeries. I believe he's had 4 surgeries in that time. But what if he was just getting all of his problems fixed?
Yeah.
It would make sense.
And we're the first people that when we see old age and a long layoff, we're like, oh, no thank you.
Yeah.
Like, wouldn't touch that with a 10-foot pole.
That's true.
And we were so high on Alberg until his last fight where we just saw... After the first round, he was awful.
Mm-hmm. And he had a mid performance against Oezdemir. Blachowicz is having mid performances against Alex Pereira and Magomed Ankalaev.
They're great performances.
They're good performances. Like, you watch that Pereira fight back, and it's like, yeah, it's could have gone either way.
Yeah,
a different night for the judges. It could have gone either way for sure.
All this being said, at 42 years old, on his 80th birthday.
Alberg by KO.
Jan Blachowicz is getting that 2-1, that 29-28 decision win over Carlos Ulberg, and is gonna put himself right in a good spot to potentially be fighting for that belt again.
I think it's gonna be a close decision. Like, Carlos Ulberg's gonna have some good striking. He'll pick it up when he realizes he's losing on the scorecards, and probably sting Blachowicz. Like, he's got crazy power. But when was the last time we've seen Carlos Ulberg put out a guy who's actually good?
Yeah.
He's putting out these guys outside of the rankings. He's not putting away Volkan Oezdemir with a 1-2. He's going to a competitive decision with Oezdemir. So I also think it's going to be a decision. I don't see Blachowicz getting a finish. I don't see Ulberg. Ulberg could get a round 1 or 2 finish if Blachowicz looks like trash. Like, this could be Blachowicz's last fight.
Yeah.
If he looks bad.
But here's the thing, too, is how many people could step into the ring with Pereira, Adesanya, and Ankalaev and not get put out in a single one of those fights?
Yeah. Yeah. He's crazy. He's crazy.
Yeah.
He's only lost to Pereira out of those 3.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then the main card, Last fight, we got Edwards versus Brady. Yeah, here we are, boys.
I think everyone is overreacting to the fight we saw between Leon Edwards and Bilal Muhammad. And guess what? Everyone's going to be so low on Leon Edwards. But then after this fight, oh, Leon's so back. We knew the whole time that he is so back,
Yeah.
you know? His worst performance of all time, you know, happened to be on that championship night against Bilal Muhammad. You know, we've seen other fighters have terrible nights. Like Alex Pereira had a bad night against Ankalaev. You know, in his next fight, everyone's gonna root against Pereira. He's gonna get the win. Oh, Pereira's back. You know, it's how it goes. You know, he had a bad night.
Yeah.
You know, but does Sean Brady even come close to stacking up to the guys that Leon's beat, like Kamaru Usman twice? No, it's not even close to prime Kamaru Usman. You know.
I don't know, man. Gilbert Burns and Kamaru Usman, neck and neck. Yeah, I like Leon Edwards in this fight. I like that he's an underdog. I think it's a great value. If you were to bet, no way you bet Brady.
No, there's no value in Brady
As
being
a favorite. That's crazy. Short notice. It's only like a 4-week replacement, right?
I thought it was like it was like 3 or 4 week replacement.
4 week replacement. Like, it's not a long training camp for Brady. It's a 5-round fight, which definitely favors Leon Edwards. He won the 5th round against Bilal. Like, those elbows, I always look at the pictures of Bilal after that 5th round. The dude was getting beat up. Like, there was so bloody, gashed open. Like, it was man, if that fight would have gone a little bit longer, who knows what could have happened.
And Brady's chinny.
Yeah.
You get TKO lost to Bilal Muhammad.
And that's the crazy thing, is that's his only loss.
Yeah.
Which is so wild to me that his loss was against Bilal Muhammad by finish.
And I really don't think Leon finishes Brady here. I also think that the fact that people are like, oh, Brady decision, you're not submitting Leon Edwards.
No, you're not submitting Leon Edwards. Like, Sean Brady's a very good grappler, but so is Leon. He has great jiu-jitsu. He has great wrestling defense. He wasn't submitted or even like had any moments where it looks like he was going to be submitted against Bilal Muhammad, which is just a better version of Sean Brady.
Yeah.
Bilal is literally the better version of Sean Brady.
And we've seen this guy go 3 fights with Kamaru Usman as well. You know, like his wrestling, like he can keep up with, I mean, one of the best wrestlers of the 2020s.
Yeah.
You know, maybe even a top 3 guy. So, I mean, at the end of the day, I think people are overreact to 1-fight losses. You know, like, you know what, has a terrible fight. Players in every single sport have bad nights. You know, there's nights where LeBron James shoots 2 for 20. You know, Steph Curry shoots 2 for 20. It's just in the UFC, when you have those bad nights, it's escalated more, you know, because you only fight once or twice or 3 times a year.
Yeah, that
Know?
sucks.
I think at the end of the day, I'm really confident in Leon Edwards here.
Really?
Yeah.
That's
it
fair.
might even be my most confident prediction on the whole card.
Yeah, on this card, I feel like every fight was pretty close.
So I just think that I have no faith in Sean Brady here. We didn't have faith in him against Gilbert Burns. He looked really good against Gilbert Burns, but that's an old Gilbert Burns.
He looked, that's the annoying thing. Like, if he would have looked so against Gilbert Burns, this would have been an easy prediction for me. But because he looked so good against Gilbert Burns, it gave me like a little bit of like thought, oh, is he just going to take Leon down and hold him down? This dude beat Craig Jones in a grappling match, which is absolutely insane. But it's just, we always talk about jiu-jitsu and grappling outside of MMA is completely different.
It's a different story.
Yeah.
Where we've seen Leon's jiu-jitsu and takedown defense be elite inside of the UFC.
Yeah. I just don't think that Leon Edwards is going to have the same type of performance that he did at 304. And I think any other version of Leon Edwards beats Sean Brady.
Well, and he's fighting at 10 o'clock instead of 4 in the morning.
Exactly. Yeah,
You
he
know?
doesn't have that crazy time to deal with. You know, he doesn't have to wake up at 6 a.m. to train. Like, the favor should be with Leon Edwards here. He should win this fight. He's technically better. His striking is better. He has a takedown defense. He's had the longer fight camp. It's in his hometown. You know, like, he should have all the advantages here. And if he goes out and loses, fair play to Sean Brady.
Yeah, but I just cannot pick Sean Brady. I don't think he's at the level of Leon Edwards. I think Leon Edwards he's the number 1 welterweight ranked like contender for a reason.
Yeah.
I think Sean Brady beat a guy in Gilbert Burns who's 2 tiers lower, who's like a tier 3 guy, you know, at this point of his career. Brady's in that second tier. I don't think he's in this same tier as a guy like Leon Edwards. So we'll see. I'm also very notorious for just being a Sean Brady hater. You know, I don't believe in him. You know, I don't think the UFC fully believes in him. I think the UFC wants Leon to get this win here because Sean Brady's a nightmare contender. If this guy's fighting for the belt, you're getting 3 pay-per-view buys. You better push up that Netflix sale quick because there ain't no one buying a Sean Brady headline pay-per-view.
Yeah, it's wild to me that Sean Brady's the one who got this opportunity. You know, you got guys like Joaquin Buckley who surely would have taken this fight.
Yeah, Prates.
Don't say Prates can't go from 13 to 1. There's no way Prates goes from 13 to rank number 1. That's crazy. That's too far. But even like an Ian Gary, even though he lost his last fight, like they could have given him this fight.
Especially in the UK.
I know.
You see,
it would have been kind of fire.
That's a tough choice. I think I maybe would go Gary in a league.
Yeah.
It's tough.
It would have been a banger, but
I think it's a better fight than Sean Brady.
I'm surprised they gave him Sean Brady. But who knows? You know, this is a very good fight night card. This is what we always want. And I mean, it's good because we made a prediction video on it. That's how you know it's a banger.
It's so uncertain.
Yeah.
You know, realistically, we could go 500 on our predictions.
500?
Like you know, like 500 is like even, like.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Like 50-50.
Yeah.
Type shit.
Yeah. All right. Cooked. That's going to wrap it up for us today. Make sure you guys go into the comments. What fight are you guys looking forward to the most? Let's hope that my voice is back for our next video because someone was hating on me. He's like, why is Dylan always sick? I'm not sick. I just live an adventurous life.
He's always throwing ragers.
No ragers. Make sure you guys go down there, like and subscribe, and we'll see you guys next time. Peace.
See ya.